I think, in the second week after we started on this matter of the coronavirus, and I want to say that yes, we set aside Mount Kenya Hospital for a number of reasons. One, Mount Kenya is isolated where it is. Number two, the setup of Mount Kenya also allows for compartments as opposed to wards. So we have 21 bed capacity in Mount Kenya Hospital as we speak. We have also been able to boost the medical equipment that we have there, including oxygen. We have also trained the personnel that was originally in Mount Kenya, but we have also boosted that personnel by bringing in experts who fortunately were in the county, who are involved in the Ebola crisis in Liberia. And we also have about 3 nurses who are also involved, and they are there working together. So we have also received equipment, PPEs from national government, about 25 suits. That is not adequate, but that's what we have received so far. We have done orders at KEMSA. They have not been supplied because I think KEMSA is also struggling with capacity. We have also received quite a number of sanitizing agents. We have also gotten cleaning agents. These are things we have done at Mount Kenya. And so Mount Kenya remains our isolation facility where we quarantine any cases. It is also important to say that we have had about 26 alarms raised. We have visited the 26 patients, all of them. We have been able to test majority of them, and none of them has proven positive. We have gotten them to sign the self-quarantine forms, and they are monitored on a daily basis by ourselves and by national government from wherever they are. Having said that, we had a scare the other day when somebody from Idengori, who had just come from America, decided that he did not want, actually he was claiming that if we quarantine him, we needed to pay him 1,000 shillings, I think 4,000 shillings per day. But finally we were able to talk to him, and he was able to accept. But that one also raised in us the need to set aside a quarantine facility, which we now have. That is Wambogo Farm, Wambogo Agricultural Training College. And there we have a capacity of about 45 beds, and it's a middle class hotel. So anyone found with such signs, and any person who so refuses to do self-quarantining will be done there forcibly by ourselves at their own costs. The minimum will be 14 days, and they will pay for it. So Wambogo Farm has been set aside by my government to be the facility where we quarantine forcibly any person who so refuses. Having said that, I think it is important that we raise this issue and say that we have continued to monitor the situation in Nyeri. Yes, many of our citizens are running business as usual, which is a tragedy. And I need to give a few facts and say that despite all the preparations we are making, I must tell Nyeri that in the event of a full-blown crisis, in the event of a full-blown epidemic, sincerely, we are totally not prepared. Why? The entire bed capacity in Nyeri County is 1,277. That is all the beds that are in our private facilities, our public facilities, and the faith-based facilities. What that one translates into is that out of 800,000 Nyeri people, we have only 1,277 beds, and those beds, as we speak, majority of them are still occupied by other patients with other conditions. So this one really must wake up in us the urgency to take care of ourselves. Even as we sit here, even as we talk about government, even as we struggle with our daily needs, it is key that every one of us takes personal responsibility. Clean and wash your hands. Keep away from crowds. Avoid all unnecessary travel. And here we must tell the matatu industry that yes, guidelines have been given. If your vehicle has a capacity of 18 and you have, or 16, whichever the number, and you've been asked to carry 50%, please do so, and ensure that the passengers get sanitized as they get into the vehicle, are sanitized as they leave the vehicle, and the vehicle is sanitized and washed immediately it does a trip. One other thing we must say is that we have closed down all market days in all our markets. We used to have market days on Tuesdays, Thursdays, etc. That one has been closed. We will now no longer allow traders to move from one end of the county to the other, others coming from outside the county to bring in their goods. That one is suspended for the next 30 days. There shall be no open market days. We will work with the open markets. Any person who does not have a place and a station where they sell that has been allocated by the county government shall not be allowed to do trading in Nyeri. Having said that, I must also caution any business person who so thinks that this is the time to make a quick buck. This is immoral, it is unfair, it's uncouth, and it is unpatriotic. Any person, any supermarket, any shop, any matatu, any business person trying to make a kill now by increasing fares, increasing prices, taking advantage of the vulnerable, the Lord God will see you. But before even the Lord God sees you, we as a government will be on your neck. I have already sent out teams today that are going around the entire county in surveillance. And any one of you found, we shall take away and close down. We will withdraw your license and close that shop. I must say this, that I would rather be a living poor person than a dead rich man. I think this must sink into our heads. This is no time to take advantage. And in the same breath, I would want to say that myself, this government and the national government have started putting in place plans for relief food for the vulnerable. We know that once we get into closing down these businesses and whatever, sooner or later the resources will end. And we must provide food to those that won't have food. And therefore, as a government, with the GOK, the government of Kenya, and ourselves, we are making arrangements to look for relief food. And I also make an appeal to the people of Nyeri and to those businessmen and women who have made a clean business, have done good work. You can also give to this noble cause. It's time for you, if you have extra rice, to bring it to us. We will put the rice, the maize, the beans, and whatever you can give to good use by giving those of our people that may not have anything to eat in the coming days. Ladies and gentlemen, the virus has no feet. It is carried by human beings. Let us stop unnecessary travel. Let us put to a halt unnecessary gatherings. I would want to give advice and say, where there is a funeral that has to be undertaken, let the family members, immediate family members, be allowed to do that. We do not want crowds exceeding 15. Let us stop inviting our relatives from every other corner of this globe to come for the funeral. 15 men and women can do a perfect job for a funeral. And in that breath, all chamas, all camueredo, all ruracios, all weddings will not be allowed, and they are banned and stopped for the next 30 days. You will not lose your wife if you don't marry her now. And even if you do, take her home and go to church after this. I think we must be clear in our minds that it is upon ourselves. National government, the county governments do not have the capacity to take care of the 49 million Kenyans. We must protect ourselves. We must begin by taking precautionary measures. That is why we are saying, let us sanitize ourselves, let us clean our hands, and we will soon be setting up. I think in the next 2 days, we are going to set up checkpoints at Kangosho. We are going to set up checkpoints at Kariko on your way from Chinga. We will set up at Nairutia, and we will also set up at a place called Nanyuki, because we must also be careful who is coming into the county. Ladies and gentlemen, our beloved people who are in Nairobi, please stay in your houses in Nairobi. Don't come home, because by coming home, you are risking the lives of our people. We are seeing statistics showing that the elderly are the people that are most vulnerable. That does not exonerate the young men and women, but we are telling the young men and women, the youth, please, it's no time to live a carefree life. And also, as you come home, be careful. You could be bringing the coronavirus to your aged parents, and you will be the cause of their death. So as of now, I still think that we should stay where we are, limit our travel, limit our gatherings. We have also asked our employees in this county to work from home. Let them work from home. We will give clear instructions on that, but we have left the very key and essential services like the medical personnel. We have left the fire brigade on. We have left the revenue collectors, those that are outside there. We have also left the cleaners, and generally we are saying it's time to take a go slow so that we can see this. I want to remind the people of Kenya and the people of Nyeri that even during the Passover, the angel of death came to Egypt, but he passed over the houses of the Israelites because they had locked themselves in and they had put a mark on the door. I think it is key and important that we walk back in history and see that this could be a pandemic to the scales of that. Why don't you stay indoors, buy your food and keep it there, and only do necessary travel? I think this is a message we must pass on, and we appreciate that national government and ourselves are working very, very closely together. In a meeting that we were yesterday, we agreed that we are going to provide in all SACCO offices sanitizers and gloves to those people that are handling cash. We are also advising Kenyans and our people, please, let's go to M-Pesa. Let's use online payments. Let us avoid handling cash. That is also a conduit for the spread of this virus. Finally, let us also say this. The rates at which this virus is multiplying is alarming. We are told that in this country we now have 25. Ladies and gentlemen, let us ask ourselves this question. How many people have come into contact with these 25? It's time for us to not ignore any advice given. As far as club, bars and restaurants are concerned, they will remain closed in Nyeri just as they are everywhere else. We are saying we only want sit-in hotels must also close down. Let people buy packed and take away food so that we may survive. Yes, it's painful, but I would rather we took these painful measures and lived longer than just live carelessly. And why we are saying this is because it's a little bit dangerous. I end by saying this. The book of Hosea says, chapter number 4, verse 6, that my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. We have continued to give knowledge to the people of Nyeri. We have 8 vehicles going around the county explaining what people needed to do. Please heed. It's not business as usual. Thank you and God bless.